Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank, and I am very excited to be coming to you now at 4 p.m. instead of at noon. Just a friendly reminder that this is a permanent change, so if you are joining us, congratulations for making the new time. Remember to mark your calendars for 4 p.m. in the future for the podcast. Today, we are spotlighting the upcoming Live2Lead event in October. Kristann Getsy, a local speaker, coach, and trainer, will join us and tell us how we can get involved in this exciting event. And on our NKY at Work segment, Nancy Spivey will be joined by Michelle Cestaric, Director of Sales for Indeed Flex, who will be talking about the benefits of a digital staffing and flexible workplace. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, our title sponsor, CVG, our digital sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, and our episode sponsor, Haran. Have you gotten your tickets to the 2022 Women's Initiative Regional Summit sponsored by PNC? Don't forget to join the NKY Chamber's Women's Initiative for the 7th Annual Regional Summit at Megacorp Pavilion on Thursday, November 3rd. The event's theme, Rocking Your Role, Amplifying Your Power, Purpose, and Goals, aims to bring the region's businesswomen together to discuss real-life leadership experiences and how attendees can care for themselves, their professional teams, and simultaneously drive business results. You can get your tickets now at nkychamber.com/events. Now, let's go hear from our sponsors and meet our members of the week.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Blair Technology Group is Microsoft's largest authorized refurbisher and provides a range of IT and PC services to its local community and beyond. Grant County Schools is a pre-K through 12 public education institution that provides high-quality instruction to students throughout Grant County. The Northern Kentucky Children's Advocacy Center is a nonprofit organization that provides service free of charge to children that have been sexually abused, severely physically abused, trafficked, and children who have witnessed violent crimes. Liberty Power Wash is a pressure washing company that specializes in exterior cleaning from roofs, windows, buildings, concrete cleaning, and everything in between. BayWac has been serving adults with disabilities and other barriers to employment since 1973. Hi, everyone. I am joined by Kristann Getsy, host of Live2Lead Global2Local and speaker, coach, and trainer. Kristann, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you having me, Sarah.
Yes, so let's get started. Tell us a little bit about you before we start talking about Live2Lead.
Sure. Well, I am not a native of Northern Kentucky. I was only supposed to be here for 3 years, and it looks like this is my home until I die. My husband and I moved here about 20 years ago. I was a television anchor and reporter for a few years in the Cincinnati market and just kind of platformed right over into doing business here. And I started a video production, event production company, and now I'm doing communications and leadership development and training because it's really my thing. It's my passion. So I'm excited that I live here in Northern Kentucky because it's just like the hub of everything, right?
Yeah, and you travel a lot, so it's a great place for you to pop on a plane, leave, and then come right back.
Yeah, I feel like one of the most fortunate people in the world. I love to travel. At one time, I had an aspiration to be one of those Travel Channel people, but that's a lot of different kind of work. I still get to do my travel, but I'm training people on communications and leadership, which is something I've not just studied, but something I've lived through. And so it's fun. I've literally been coast to coast doing exactly what I do and what I'm passionate about. And that's enabling people to communicate better, thereby lead better.
Yeah, and so that kind of segues right into this event that you are having, Live2Lead Global2Local. So tell us a bit about this event.
Sure. Well, Live to Lead is an annual global leadership simulcast. It's got world-class speakers. It was created originally to share growth principles and techniques to help individuals change their world. Now, my Live to Lead Global to Local event is a live experience, and I like to call it an experience because I totally believe that we are all striving to provide value to our organizations to grow our people. And when we grow our people, we grow our teams. When we grow our teams, we grow our communities. So the event itself, it attracts high performance people. So the people that are attending this event, they'll get to learn from renowned leadership experts. They gain new perspectives on relevant topics. They get practical tools that they're able to apply right away, whether it's at their home or their workplace or their communities or nonprofits that they work for. They get to grow their teams and build their teams. So when they get teams at a table and we get to brainstorm together, they're growing their teams at the event. And of course, they get to connect and engage with community leaders.
Yeah, and tell us a bit about those community leaders. I know you've got some big names on the docket coming up here.
Oh my gosh. So we have some world renowned experts who are going to be talking. So I am a part of the leadership team for John C. Maxwell. So Dr. Maxwell, or Papa John, as we like to call him for the people who are on his team, he is going to be one of the speakers, and he's the founder of the big Live to Lead event, right? In addition to him talking, we're going to have Patrick Lencioni. He is someone that is very recognizable in the leadership space. If you've not read one of his books, you're going to want to by all means. I just had a great opportunity to go through a couple of hour training on the 6 types of working genius. And this is where we're able to impact organizations by helping people to discover the gifts that they bring to work and how to mold those into making strong teams. Another speaker that we're going to have is Dr. Eric Thomas, and he is so amazing. A lot of people call him ET. He is a leadership guru. He is motivational. I tell you what, anytime you've ever heard him or listened to him after you've watched a video, you're like ready to go conquer the world. I can't wait to hear the insights that he's going to be bringing. And then we have Dr. Tim Elmore. I was just on a Zoom call with him a couple of days ago, and he has a new book that will be out by the time Live to Lead comes, and it's called A New Kind of Diversity. And the bottom line to that one is making the different generations become more capable of working as a team. So where I see this working in my business, like for example, is one of my clients is the Navy. And there's old engineers who've been there for a really long time, and there's new engineers coming out with these great insights, but the communications are a little wonky. And so this book is capable of bringing insights in to help that organization and other organizations like that to grow and capitalize too, like on the various generations, and not be afraid to have those crucial conversations, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then probably one of the most recognizable names of people that are going to be talking in the simulcast is Doris Kearns Goodwin. Woo, let me tell you what, her books are pretty in-depth. She is a presidential historian, but she's also somebody who inspires people just to dig a whole lot deeper. So we're going to round out the day too with a fireside chat from some of our local leaders, and we will be talking about crucial conversations. I'm going to be facilitating that conversation as the host of Live to Lead Global to Local, and that's on October 27th at at Receptions Event Center in Northern Kentucky.
Yes, receptions is one of our favorites at the chamber. We host a lot of stuff there. And you mentioned Dr. Maxwell, and you had a funny nickname for him, and you know him personally as well. I know you wanted to share a little bit about that first meeting, and I'm excited to hear about it.
Well, it's funny. I got to meet him a couple of years ago when I first joined the team. And I don't have like this whole celebrity thing. I just don't have it. But he and I were eating at the same restaurant, and he was sitting at a table behind me. And I was like, okay, so how can I make an impact to someone who has meant so much to me? I mean, Entrepreneur Magazine calls him the #1 leadership expert in the United States. Okay, so let's go with that, right? So to me, after 80 some odd books, you probably have your stuff together. Well, I honestly have been known to be a hot mess from time to time, but I admire who he is, and I admire all of the leadership expertise that he gives to us. So it's like, I called a waiter over and I said, hey, could you, I want to send some desserts to that table. And he gave me a list, and I selected cannolis because it's easily shareable at a table. Sent it over. And after they finished dinner and I finished dinner and we were both leaving, we had a chance meeting again. And I said, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for all you've done for me, the books that you've written, and I'm your cannoli girl. Oh my gosh, it was an awkward moment, but he took it with so much grace. And so, I don't want to go back to him ever again and say, hey, do you remember I'm your cannoli girl? It's just weird.
No, I think you gotta live, laugh, like love with that one, and just like really embrace the cannoli girl aspect of it.
Yeah, and he totally rolled with it. It was pretty sweet. I mean, he is just an amazing human being with a spirit of wanting just to pour into people. And the reason we call him Papa John is because he's just like a papa, and he says that all the time. He goes, hi, I'm John, and I'm your friend. That's how he introduces himself all the time. Or if he has something really hard he needs to hit you with, he'll hit you with it hard. And he says, and don't forget, I'm John, your friend.
Yeah, and that is awesome. So he is obviously one of the big attractions to this event. What are some things that you really think that attendees will take away from him personally?
Again, he is the #1 leadership expert in the United States. And possibly in the world. There are so many books that he's written that I've not just read, but I almost use it like Bibles for my communications training and consulting, right? They're tremendous tools. I think people are going to walk away with a better way to communicate from him, and always something that raises your leadership lid. So the example I'll give you with that is that one of the things he teaches and preaches about, if you will, is the leadership lid. So if you have an organization of 10 people and your leader is a 7 out of 10, the highest that anyone in that organization can get is a 7. So if you're not figuring out how to raise your leadership lid up to an 8, you're capping what the rest of your team is capable of doing. So every time he talks, he brings that and he hits it really hard. So he'll give us tips and tricks and tools that we can use to motivate ourselves, to learn more, be more, give more. And he always talks about servant leadership. So we can, walk away with some inspiration as well.
Right. That's a big thing that we talk about at the chamber, obviously, is leadership and leadership development. What type of people do you think should be attending this? Is this a free-for-all for everyone? Is this for established leaders? Who are you guys trying to reach, and who is this going to really benefit?
So really, there's a long list of who it could benefit, but I'm just going to give you my top ones. How about that? So business leaders in the tri-state. I would like to explain exactly what that means, because this is something, since this is not my first rodeo, that I started talking about. I like to say leaders, and people are like, oh, I'm not a leader. Everyone is a leader, even if you're just a leader of one, because you might just be leading yourself, but are you doing it well? So #1, business leaders from the tri-state. And that doesn't mean the C-suites. That just means anyone who is leading within an organization. We know that already that we're going to have some corporate representatives that are going to be there. So that provides great networking opportunities. There's going to be government officials there. And again, great networking opportunities. And then we're going to expand it to include educators and nonprofit organizations. And, there's a lot of solopreneurs that I know will be attending. So the networking aspect of that will be like heightened, I do believe. And I know from people who've attended in the past, they've talked about how awesome the networking was and how they wanted more opportunities. So not only did they say, hey, here's something you can improve on, we've capitalized on that this year by including some additional funds to encourage networking to happen more often.
Yeah, that is awesome. It sounds like a really great event. So if somebody is listening and they want to attend, how do they register and how do they get more information?
Thanks for asking that. For more information, you can go to our website and to register also. And the website is live2leadnky.com. So that's LIVE, the number 2, LEAD, NKY.com.
All right. Well, Kristann, it has been so great to have you on. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you want to share about this really great event, Live to Lead, that you guys are hosting? I just want to give you an opportunity to share anything else about the event.
Sure, absolutely. I've got one more thing to share. Look, I don't know about you guys, but at the end of a long work day, I really like to have a cocktail every now and again. And so I brought that to this event. We're going to have a bourbon tasting at the end of the day. It's going to be yummalicious, but also a great time to wrap up the day and do some networking. It's a good time to reward yourself for taking the day away and spending some time on you for personal development. And I want to encourage anyone who is going, I don't know, look, it has the potential to change your world.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And I'm sure that little bourbon tasting, some really great networking is going to send people right over the edge to register for this event. And Kristann, thank you again so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Nancy Spivey, Vice President of Talent Strategies for the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. And joining me today is Michelle Cestaric. Michelle, your title is Director of Sales for Indeed Flex. Tell me a little bit about Indeed Flex.
Yes, so Indeed Flex is a digital staffing platform, and it really came out of the need to meet candidates where they are. We have really learned that the shift in workforce has talent looking for jobs on their phone at night, on the weekends, and really, if we weren't able to engage talent in that digital space, we were leaving it on the table, right? And in such the supply and demand that we have now, this is really our answer to some of those challenges within the staffing world.
So gone are the days of people walking into a building. I understand that most people are online looking at things.
Yeah.
I know I do, and
Absolutely.
I'm certainly sure that most people are.
Yeah.
So tell us why employers need to embrace this new way of thinking.
As I mentioned before, the shift in workforce that occurred, it was really actually even happening pre-pandemic, where we saw the workers really wanting employers to meet their needs, right? The shift times that they're available for, flexible scheduling. As a matter of fact, I have some data here that shares that the top 3 things that matter to employees are location, pay rate, and flexibility. Right? And so what we realize is, again, when you let technology help you to make that better match, and you're cognizant of the employee's choices within that, you really reap the benefits on the other side. Because frankly, job placement can be a little black and white. You either can do the shift or you can't. You either have the skill sets or you don't. And you either have the background check that is required or you don't. And the ability to match those things while meeting the candidate preferences, again, really just kind of give you different results on the backside, right? Now, if you're giving a candidate the shift that they want, even if they're only available Monday, Wednesday, Friday, well, Mr. Employer, you can't tell me that you don't have people missing from vacation, turnover, absenteeism, illness, that you can't use Tom Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you are the only one offering Tom that opportunity. And so Tom becomes a very loyal extension of your workforce. You truly can create this, strategic group of associates that still have flexibility that meets their needs, right? You can provide stability in that workforce, but still meeting the candidate needs, and then everybody wins.
Wow. Okay. It's just a new way of thinking.
It really is.
The flexibility piece of hiring. I think for most people, they're like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 9 to 5. most HR professionals are looking for the candidate to fill a particular slot. So
yeah, but
really
if you take a step back from that and you really, again, look at the benefits of where the candidate is self-selecting, and that's really what digital staffing is about, right? You use the technology to push out the openings, and then the candidate, through kind of a marketplace environment, is looking at all the positions and self-selecting the jobs that work for them. And again, you're getting a better result on the flip side. But for those employers who look at that and think, gosh, how can I possibly, I've got production demands, or I have to have so many people on the phone to take calls at this time. It's certainly a little bit of investment on that front end to build that flexible workforce, but you truly can have a sustained workforce with that model, and you're going to get better results because you're already meeting the needs of the workers, and they have no need to go look somewhere else for that.
So help me as an employer understand, if I'm a traditional hiring person, I'm the one responsible for getting people in the door. How do I change my model, and how can you help me with that?
Yeah, so great question. It's, as I said, the changing of the model is really through a discovery process. We really need to kind of discuss and understand, what are your goals? What does your current staffing look like? But again, I think there's a fit for everybody, right? These positions don't necessarily mean that it's gig work. I mean, face it, the Uber driver that signs up to be Uber, he's not doing it to just drive once, right? So what we really are proposing is the employer kind of take a step back from that and look at it through a different lens and say, okay, I need 15 people at all times on my production floor to run the lines. Well, there's nothing that says we can't have, a fluctuating group of trained people that are picking up those shifts. And then again, what you get is just a better result on the other side from those employees because you're meeting what they need.
It's a fascinating new way of looking at the whole hiring process.
Yeah,
and retaining.
And that's really that key thing. I think, beyond needing to engage talent in the digital space where they're looking, beyond the self-selection that we know is going to improve our odds for a better match, that retention piece, because truthfully, the retention is what's killing everybody. I mean, the quitting is real. It is happening out there, and it's because employees are expecting and demanding more of employers. You need to meet them where they are in order to, again, capture that talent and keep that talent. So, that investment on the front end to really kind of dissect your business and understand how can you create a sustained, flexible workforce and still meet your production needs is not so crazy once you really break it down to the essential functions, right, of what you need to accomplish and really the benefits of that better match and meeting the candidates, requirements and expectations, right? And again, it doesn't mean gig. Oftentimes what we're seeing with this, even the customers that allow flexible scheduling through our Indeed Flex platform, they get the repeat workers are at 94%, right? Wow. So it's not something we're popping in and popping out, right? But you will invest in that associate's training, and then that opens them up to continue to provide, shift coverage for you. Yeah, right. Or even think about how you could get away from overtime. Gosh, you've got a trained workforce, Friday rolls around, suddenly you have to work Saturday, you're either going to pay everybody overtime to do it, or you're going to push that out and allow your trained pool of workers to pick up that demand. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it.
So help me understand locally, is this becoming quite a trend? Are you seeing it across industries? What's going on locally?
Absolutely. So, locally, we actually have a couple of companies that have started supporting in that digital space, So I think, again, we've seen these trends coming for a while. It is the direction the staffing industry is going to continue to go. Because, again, if I can let the algorithm make the match, then I can focus on those retention engagement activities, right? I can move away from that recruiting and focus on where it really matters and can be very impactful. So the industry as a whole is moving that direction. It's kind of interesting. There's we have some information that we'll put out there, but the worker evolution, just over the last 4 years or so has been really significant, and it's not going backwards. And I think that's what employers need to understand, whether we're ready for this change or not. It's happening. And we really need to make sure that we're embracing these in order to, meet the needs of the employers as well as the employees, you know? And Europe's embraced this kind of thought process for a while now. Yeah. So I think, again, it's continuing to be the direction that we're going. And locally, we are seeing some of that happen and the benefits of it. Absolutely.
This is great. And we're right on the cutting edge. And I really look forward to seeing, the employers embrace this new model and see how it goes with retaining the great talent that's available in Northern Kentucky.
And it doesn't even have to be the entire workforce. Maybe you carve out 10 flexible shifts and now you're plugging holes and still building a sustained workforce.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing a little bit of this information.
It's a great pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today with Kristann Getsy of Live2Lead and Michelle Cestaric of Indeed Flex. We hope you enjoyed our NKY at Work segment. We're excited to continue to bring that to you guys to share more about workforce resources across Northern Kentucky. Don't forget to get your tickets to the Women's Initiative Regional Summit at Megacorp Pavilion on Thursday, November 3rd. You can get those tickets and learn more about our inspiring lineup of speakers at nkychamber.com/events. Thank you again to our sponsors, CVG, C Crew Consulting, and Haran. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're interested in becoming a member of the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find both of their contact information in our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks again, guys. I'll talk to you next week.